Alright, y'all, so I'm hungry today. I've been giving you guys my lunches. I can't do it today, bitch. I got to eat, so I can't be fucking around with y'all all day. 3 minutes tops on each topic. You think I can do it? Let's see. This is just a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. Alright, our serious stories first. The murder-suicide at UCLA. It was the day of finals yesterday, and then around 10 a.m. there was a report of a shooting. Of course, all pandemonium broke out. Students didn't know what was going on. People were running, people were ducking, people were hiding. Gossip started to spread that it was more than one gunman, that people was on the rampage, they were shooting at folks. I mean, you know how those things can go. It got out of control. However, Los Angeles Police Department was able to restore some calm once they realized that it was just one gunman, and it seemed that he only had one particular person in mind when he did shoot him, and that would have been William S. Klug, who is an associate professor of mechanical and aerospace engineering. When I originally took the notes, they didn't release the name of the gunman, but now they're saying that the gunman's name is Manik Sarkar, and that he was a student of Professor Klug's. Originally, I just assumed that it was, once they said that it was a murder-suicide, you know, you always hear about these things thinking that it's a crime of passion. They did say that Professor Klug was married and had 2 small children, but when you hear about those type of subjects, you just automatically think that it was a murder-suicide, that, you know, I hadn't put the whole story together, that the man was gay and, you know, that the student was having an affair with him and, you know, went bad. And okay, well, now they're saying that that is not the case, or at least we still don't know. However, they're saying that the student was upset with Professor Klug for releasing information that harmed him. They said that it was over a dispute over intellectual property. UCLA is denying that that is true. However, they're saying that the gunman had an actual kill list, that there was another woman in Minnesota that he intended on killing, and when the police went there to check on the lady, she indeed was dead as well. So now I'm thinking, you know, something about my conspiracy antenna is going up, okay, because this is the associate professor of mechanical and aerospace engineering. The student sounds like I already know that it sounded like I'm, you know, being prejudiced and everything, but it sounds like a Middle Eastern. Is that the wrong thing to say, you guys? I'm sorry, but it seemed like I'm just trying to, you know, maybe I didn't watch too many episodes of Quantico, but it's strange, you know, this killing. There's no explanation for it. I'm just wondering if it has some terrorist type of implications or anything like that. So I don't know. We don't know yet, and we may not never know. This might be one of those things where they just write off murder-suicide, disgruntled student. Of course, they're painting the picture, not painting the picture, but they're saying that the professor was well-known, well-loved, so very sad. They did shut down the campus yesterday. However, today the campus is back up and running. Everyone is safe, and finals are back in session. So, yeah, just giving you a little report on that. We'll keep our eye on it. We'll see if we hear anything else about this murder-suicide at UCLA. Prayers up for the families that was affected, and hopefully we'll find out more about this, and, you know, we can kind of get some answers for why Mr. Sarkar even did it to begin with. Alright, you guys, and then this is a pretty sad story. Bryce Dejan Jones, okay, he is the New Orleans Pelicans guard who was killed over the weekend over a case of it wasn't mistaken identity, but I mean, the whole thing was just a miscommunication and just very unfortunate. Evidently, Bryce was visiting his baby mother or girlfriend, and it seemed that they may have had some words exchanged. He took her back to her apartment complex. She went in ahead of him. I guess at some point he decided he was going to go in and follow after her, went to the wrong apartment, kicked the door in. The resident who lived in the apartment had their bedroom door closed as well. They called out to Mr. Jones, but they're saying that Bryce did not hear him or ignored the call out, or may have even thought that it was some man in the apartment along with his girlfriend or baby mother, kicked that bedroom door in, and then he was shot and later died at the hospital. Sad situation. Actually, Bryce's mother is a friend of my brother's, so he had called me on Saturday to let me know. I immediately thought, yeah, he's an NBA player. He is not going to be breaking in anybody's house. I mean, I immediately wrote that off, and I figured that it sounded like it was something like, he had gone to the wrong place, or was trying to follow after some girl. It was unfortunate that this is what ended up happening. They're saying that the person that lived in the apartment will not be charged, because there is a law in Texas where it's legal for you to defend yourself if somebody comes into your residence. Okay, so you can shoot anybody that comes in the house. So just terrible. They said that Bryce has had some anger issues in the past, that he was put out a few colleges before he was able to kind of settle at one place, and then he became an NBA player, and I guess everyone hoped that he had gotten those issues in check and that he was going on to have a pretty successful career in the NBA. Well, now it's been cut short, and very, very sad. A part of me wonders what was going to happen if he did go to the right apartment and that he did meet up with his girlfriend. I mean, if you mad enough to kick in doors, you might not necessarily be going in there to talk. Don't want to speak ill of the dead. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point, but a sad situation all the way around. So again, I want to say prayers up to the family of Bryce Jones. I even want prayers for the man that killed him. I'm sure that can't be a good feeling to know that you took someone's life, especially in a manner where it was a misunderstanding. So, prayers up for the family. Let's move on to the next sad story. Actor Michael Jace, you guys know him from the television show The Shield. He's been in other things as well. He was found guilty of second-degree murder after he shot and killed his wife, April Jace, a couple of years ago in front of at least one of their younger children. Okay, they had 2 sons together. I think Michael believed that April was cheating. They were in the midst of a separation, maybe divorcing, talking about it, and evidently Michael did not want this divorce, was arguing with his wife, and shot her and killed her in front of the oldest of her younger boys that she had with him. So sad and crazy. He did admit back when it happened that he shot her, but I believe his legal team was trying to get him off on manslaughter because it happened in the heat of the argument, that he did not plan to kill her. But I was just like, no, this is not manslaughter. I mean, you shot this lady. He shot her once in the back, he shot her twice in her legs. They said that she was a runner, and that when his 8-year-old son, who's now 10, but he was 8 at the time, when he got up on the stand to testify, he remembered his father saying, well, since you love to run so much, now you can run to heaven, before he killed her. What a terrible thing for a young boy to remember, about his father and his mother. We'll see what happens with Michael Jace next. Okay, the sentencing phase of his trial is coming up. They said that his sentence can be anywhere from 40 years to life in prison. Even if they gave him 40 years, I believe that he will die in jail. He's already 40 years old, and that's a hard life to finish out. So, but definitely deservedly so. I mean, you kill people in cold blood, you deserve to go to jail, and that's exactly what Michael Jace is going to be doing. So prayers up for their families. Okay, the kids that are left behind, April's family, even Michael's family, everybody lost in this situation. And that's it on the heavy topics, you guys. Let's move on to the bullshit. Well, I guess this could be a heavy topic too, depending on where you stand on animal rights. But you guys already know what I'm going to talk about. Harambe, the 17-year-old gorilla who had just actually celebrated a birthday the day before he was shot dead in the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. What happened was a woman was there with her family. She had a 4-year-old son who was very eager to see the gorilla. Once he saw the gorilla, he wanted to get into the gorilla, what is it? It's not a cage, but the whole gorilla establishment down there. He wanted to get down there with the gorilla, and even though the mother had told him that he could not go down there, I don't know exactly what happened, you guys, but next thing you know, little man was down in there with the damn gorilla. Now, the gorilla is this massive, huge, extremely strong animal. It is endangered, and you've got a 4-year-old boy down there with him. Okay, the gorilla did hold on to the boy, dragged him around a couple of times. I mean, like as if he was a rag doll. He stood over the little boy. Sometimes it looked like he was protecting the boy. Other times it looked like he was getting confused because there was so much, people were screaming and yelling, and you know, it was just all this crowd, and the gorilla was kind of increasingly getting, I can't say antagonized, but you can tell that his mood was changing some kind of way. And to make a long story short, after the park waited about 10 minutes, I guess, trying to figure out exactly how they were going to attack this problem, they ended up shooting and killing Harambe. So very tragic. First things first, very sad that this animal had to die, but if I'm just going to keep it 100, I don't really see how any other outcome was going to come about. Now, there's a couple of different issues that we must talk about when we talk about this situation. First of all, wild animals being captured and then, you know, caged and being stared at, you know, profit being made from public consumption of just looking at, you know, amazed at an animal that's locked away from its natural habitat. Then there is zoo responsibility and safety for its zoo visitors, and then of course the responsibility of parents. Okay, so let's talk about all three of them. First of all, as I've grown older, I've realized that animals in captivity is not necessarily the most humane thing. Okay, I can remember going to the zoo in Baton Rouge with my now deceased grandfather-in-law, not a step, grandfather-in-law, my husband's grandfather. He took me and my 2 kids when they were little to the zoo, and the shit was depressing. Okay, the damn animals was just all just like, they were so over it. And for the first time in my life, it didn't feel right for me to just be looking at these animals behind the cage, behind the bars, when they should be out in wilderness and doing whatever the fuck that they do, you know. So that's when I kind of really realized that, wow, these animals might not necessarily be the most happy in these type of situations. And, you know, you hear stories about zoos and aquariums and all these different places trying to make it as humane as they can and, you know, trying to treat these animals well. But the bottom line is, it's not normal for animals to be held in captivity. These are not domesticated animals. These are wild animals that we've locked away just for our own enjoyment. So, you know, I'm not really sure where I stand on the whole zoo thing, but I can understand why some people would be upset that it's just like, wow, it's just not fair that you have these animals there like that. So, I mean, I get it. And then you get a situation like this where the animal is killed when they wouldn't even have been in that situation if we wasn't holding them captive, right? Okay. So that's unfortunate. Now, on top of the fact that it's an endangered animal, this animal was only 17 years old and probably could have lived for 60, they say about 60 more years. So all the way around a tragedy. But when you think about zoo responsibility and having to look over their zoo visitors, of course, the zoo had absolutely no other option than to shoot and kill this animal. Okay, and for a few reasons. The fact that it was so big, so huge, they couldn't tranquilize them because it would take too long for the tranquilizer to take effect. Even though, you know, they've said that gorillas in the past have been protective over children and have even helped them out of their cage and, you know, made sure that the child was okay. There's just absolutely no way you can tell. Okay, you can kind of look at him and see, oh, maybe he was going to, you know, but the way he was zipping that boy across that water, okay, as if he was a piece of lint, you know, and you didn't know if the boy was eventually going to get terrified enough to run, spook the gorilla, on top of everybody yelling and screaming and going on and increasing the stress level on the gorilla. I mean, that shit could have turned at any minute. So even though we would say something like, dang, you didn't have to kill that gorilla, he wasn't going to do anything to that child, you just don't know. He's an animal. We have to remember that it's an animal. Humans, well, okay, we talking about food chains, all right? Humans are above I believe any animal out there. I'm sure I'll get some feedback on people who, you know, are extreme animal rights, and that's fine. I mean, I respect how you guys feel, but I'm just saying, if it's a choice between an animal and a human, I'm gonna kill the human. I mean, I'm gonna kill the animal. So that was the responsibility of the zoo. Now, when we talk about the responsibility of a parent, again, I can see both places. I can see where a mother has a child and shit can happen in the blink of an eye. Okay, you had your eye on your kid, you turned around 1 second maybe to get a piece of something to eat out of the damn stroller. Oh, my battery is about to die. So say you're leaning over to get something out of your stroller. Okay, maybe a box of Cheez-Its or something. And when you turn around, your child then slipped under the damn little bars and is now in the thing with the gorillas. Okay, just that fast. It only takes a couple of seconds for your child to get away from you. But I cannot say that the mother is innocent in a situation like this, because as parents, we know our children. We know our children is the ones that will just sit there and watch, and then we know the ones that just get in every fucking thing around. Okay, you have got to keep hold of those ones that you know have a tendency to get away. Kids don't know. Okay, all they know is they see the gorilla, they see the water, they want to get down in there and play. They don't know that this thing is thousands of pounds and has the strength of, you know, 10,000s of whatever. All right, so it's like you have to remember as the adult that you have got to protect your children. I'm not really mad at the mother, but I'm just saying, like, this is a for real lesson. Okay, my girlfriend was asking me, you know, will children's services get involved? Y'all know I used to work at children's services. I said, even if children's services get involved, they're not going to take that child because it was an accident. Unless there's other proof that this woman has neglected her child. And I mean, it has to be some really good proof. They'll come in, they may say to her, you know, that you've got to make sure you keep an eye on your kid kind of thing. And that's going to be it. I would put a lot more of the blame on the mother. But you know, I mean, shit happens. Shit happens. The bottom line is some of us are way more attentive than others. Sometimes shit happens even when we're extremely attentive. I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation. But yeah, I don't have any problem with them shooting the gorilla. Okay, because you just can't, there's just no way to know. It's okay for animal lovers to be upset about this, because the bigger issue is animals in captivity, and should zoos be done away with altogether? Now, do I think they will be? No, because zoos are a big money maker, aquariums are big money makers. Okay, tiger shows in Vegas, okay, whale shows at SeaWorld, and you know, all of these things are big money. So I don't think that they'll ever be done away with, but you know, I guess this is going to be an eye-opener for all of those type of businesses to know that, you know, maybe they'll rethink some of the more dangerous animals that they have in captivity there. You guys tell me what you think about it, though. How you feel about it. I know this went way over my 3-minute mark, but I knew it was. It's a lot of things to talk about there. But yeah, sadness for an animal. I mean, I'm not one to be trying to just kill anything, but when it has to be done, it has to be done. So, but yeah, you guys let me know what you think about everything I just said there. Rest in peace, poor little Harambe. He ain't little, big Harambe. Next up, LiraGalore's Twitter hack. Did you guys see over the Memorial Day weekend how some hackers got into her Twitter account and started to post all of her DMs from many celebrities who basically wanted to get up in them up in the skins, you guys? Michael Blackson, Ian Connor, Ocho Cinco, Yo Gotti, and Michael Epps were some of the unfortunate men that was exposed. Yeah, it was interesting. Michael Blackson, he was so funny. He was the only one that really was not trying to let the thirst show outright, and he told her that he wanted to put her as lead in his next movie. I was like, what movie is Michael Blackson in, y'all? Ocho Cinco, he said that he loved the fact that she was smaller. He loves her thinner. Yo Gotti was like, FaceTime me now. I've got locked out of my phone and I can't get your number. And, you know, FaceTime me. You know, he was very adamant. Ian Connor, okay, took the subliminal route, said that he needed her help in helping him find a big booty wifey, somebody he could wife up. Guess maybe he was hoping that she would elect herself. And then, of course, Michael Epps, okay, he the only one that's straight out says, you know what, I'm gonna get a hotel room for just you and I. Okay, you was looking damn good at that Def Comedy award show. So it was all this going around. I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't really know the marital statuses of any of those guys with the exception of Mike Epps. And Mike Epps is, I mean, he has a notorious, I mean, his wife is divorcing him now because of the fact that he fucks around. He's been caught a lot of times. I believe every single time that he's been caught, maybe it's just time he just don't need to be married. So I believed it. Mike Epps did put out put out some sort of tweet that, basically was denying that it was true and that she was doing it for attention. Then comedian Little Duval, who has an interesting perspective on women, but he gets on Twitter and he feels that he has to defend Mike Epps because he's a good dude, and all these IG models who are famous for just showing their ass on IG, we need to stop supporting them. Okay, that she's a hoe, that she's fucking around with all these people. I mean, just like went on this entire rampage to the point where I was just like, well, damn, Duval, are you fucking Mike Epps? It was just such a terrible, mean tweet, to the point where finally LiraGalore, who had been ignoring all of this up to this point anyway, finally came out and was like, I did not hack this. Okay, why would I put this shit out? Okay, I'm thinking to myself, like, motherfucker, if I was gonna be trying to make myself blow up on the strength of some damn DMs getting leaked, I'm gonna make it be about some bigger names than fucking Michael Blackson, Ian Connor, Ocho Cinco, and Mike Epps. No, okay, but I didn't think that she leaked them because it was not going to help her in any kind of way. These aren't huge names. Okay, of course Mike Epps is probably the biggest one, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, so she denied that she leaked leaked her own DMs, and Duval, I think after he got a lot of backlash, ended up deleting the tweet. And then Mike Epps did come out, like he always does after he act a fool somewhere. He'll come out and he apologized, saying that he shouldn't have said what he said about her, and that he wouldn't want his daughters to be spoken to like that, even though he's spoken to his own daughters like that. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But I didn't feel like she leaked her own damn DMs. Did you guys feel like the only thing that was interesting about those DMs is that her response was never there, unless she just never did respond to them? That could be true as well. She might have niggas hitting her up all the damn time and she ain't got time to be fucking around with all of them. So that was the only one thing that I was just like, well, did she just never answer anybody, or did she ignore them, or what? I mean, there were some responses when she's talking to the Ian Connor guy, but the Mike Epps one, after he said he wanted to get a hotel, and Yo Gotti saying he wanted her to FaceTime, and they didn't have no responses. So that was the only thing. But what do you guys think? Do you think she leaked it? Or do you think it was just some other hackers that just let the shit out and everybody was mad? So Tamar Braxton got onto social media yesterday, and she said, she was back. It was all positivity. It was all good, moving forward, yada, yada, yada. She did do a couple of little likes on some shady post of, people saying different things of, how she thought it was all good. She thought she got along with the other co-host, but, all along you didn't really, she would like those type of memes. And then she also let us know that she was going to be on Steve Harvey's radio show this morning. Well, I listened to part of her interview on the Steve Harvey show. She basically said that they told Vince that she was fired, that she was flabbergasted, she was at a loss, she didn't know why, okay, and that she still doesn't know why to this day. Everything was all good on the show. She got along with the co-host, so she thought, made sure she said, so she thought. So still cast in doubt that her and the co-host had some problems, that it was some backstabbing kind of shit going on. But she basically said, she's moving on positively with her life. Like I just told you, she's moving on, moving upward, and this, that, and the other now. When you go on these type of radio shows and you're trying to make sure that you make yourself be seen in the best light, she's not going to get on there and say, yeah, I was acting a fucking fool on the set and they couldn't take it no more. I feel like she has some idea of what might have happened. Okay, when you start to look back over your life and the shit you've done, you can say, oh, I guess I could kind of see how this, that, and the other happened, if you was being truthful with yourself. But you know, like I told you guys last week, Tamar's ego is bruised, but Tamar is going to land on her feet. She's rich. She still have a lot of opportunities that she can get to. And we found out that Steve Harvey has decided to sign her up on his production team, East 112th Street, that they're going to have a game show, a talk show, you know, a bunch of things in development, but one being her own talk show. So, like I said, she'll be fine. The interview was just a lot of pumping your own self up, like, well, I'm gonna be this now, and I'm going to move forward, and I'm gonna be good, and I'm gonna show people, and you know, so it wasn't nothing that we learned new on the thing other than the fact that she signed with Steve Harvey. But yeah, she's gonna have her own talk show. Are you guys going to watch it? It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if I can take a whole hour of Tamar Braxton by herself. Quiet as it's kept, Tamar is the reason why I stopped watching the Braxton Family Values. Reason why I never really watched Tamar and Vince. I just can't take her all, you know, in big doses. I got to break her off a little bit and chew a little bit at a time. Tamar is a lot. Alright, I like Tamar. I think she's talented and everything, but she's kind of one of them other people. I done told you guys about some of the folks that I got to love from afar, and Tamar is one of them. So we'll see, you know, if her talk show comes about, you know, how successful it will be. Talk shows are hard to maintain. We've seen a lot of people try to do it, and the shit doesn't work. Now, she was part of an ensemble talk show cast. Now that she's going to be on her own, my girlfriend was telling me, you know, maybe she won't feel like she has to compete. I was like, well, she's part of an ensemble. You shouldn't have to compete. But maybe now that she has her own show, maybe this will tone her down some, because she won't feel that she needs to stand out to be, you know, the one the most noticeable or anything like that. So, I mean, we'll see. But like I said, Tamar was going to land on her feet. Somebody was going to pick her up. She was going to get some kind of opportunities, even if she had to create it herself. I'm good. Now, are you guys going to watch the talk show when it comes about? Do you believe that there's still some trickery going on? I mean, at this point, it's just over. You off the reel, child. I mean, you got mad. You created all this, and it's died down. And now it's just sort of like, I know her. I think tonight is the episode where she talks about the firing on Braxton Family Values. They hurried up and, you know, recorded that. And I probably will watch that. But other than that, it's just like, I mean, it's, girl, you gone. I mean, it ain't nothing else you can do. You can't get the job back. It's a done deal. Yeah, like I said, let me know if you're going to watch her new talk show. Alright, you guys, the TroyAve shooting at the Irving Plaza last week happened right at the top of the blog, so I didn't talk about it. But it's been just ongoing ever since. We found that Troy had been shot in the leg. We found that another lady had been shot in the leg, and that the bodyguard of TroyAve had been killed, shot in the chest. As time went on last week, we found out that there was video that surfaced showing TroyAve actually coming into the green room and shooting, just kind of open and willy-nilly. It immediately got out that he was actually indeed the person who was doing the shooting, that he was trying to shoot at Mano's camp. Mano quickly came out and denied that their camps were fighting against each other, pulled himself out of that circle. But when the video finally surfaced of Troy shooting into this crowd, you know, then it started to look like maybe he was actually the one that was shooting, and, you know, in the midst of all the confusion. Now they're saying that the police have even more video footage of TroyAve limping to a car with two women, driving to a hospital to get treated for his leg. When the police got a search warrant for that car, they were able to find the gun that shot him in the leg, the gun that shot the man that got killed. There were 3 guns in there, and now they're doing, you know, ballistics, trying to find out, you know, if TroyAve was indeed the shooter. So now he's been charged, I believe, with attempted murder. And now they're saying that, you know, once they get the ballistics and the DNA back, that it may be upgraded to murder. TroyAve's lawyers, of course, are saying that no, he did not shoot and kill bodyguard. The bodyguard's name, what was his name, you guys? Ronald McFadder. It said that he didn't shoot and kill him, and that the DNA on the gun will prove that. I guess we're gonna wait and see, okay? But when I saw that video, I was just like, that ain't looking too good for Troy, okay? Because just open out shooting into a crowd is never good. But of course, we don't see what happened before the video. Of course, we don't see what happened after the video. We just see this one little part of him coming in. So I guess we gotta wait like normal for all of the story to come out. And then we'll see, but it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good for your boy Troy. It was a T.I. concert. T.I. got a new album, I believe, coming out. Concert didn't go on, and now T.I. is losing money because they're starting to cancel his concerts because of violence, afraid that something else is going to pop off, even though it was very unrelated, as far as we know so far, to T.I. It's unfortunate that niggas, fuck up your money. Okay, all of this. So, we'll see what happened. Anybody out there in New York, y'all got y'all ear to the streets? What they saying about TroyAve? Do you think he did it? Did he kill Ronald McFadder? Leave your comments below. Child, it's Jamal Bryant. He just can't get his dick together, can he? I'm just like, you can fuck all these people if you want to, but can you put a condom on, especially when you're this big time pastor that's all over the news, Black Lives Matter, civil rights movement, this, that, and the other, and you keep on making the same damn mistakes. It is hard to forgive somebody that keeps making the same fucking mistakes, because damn it, how many times do you have to fall to learn? Okay, let me tell y'all what's going on. So now they're saying that Pastor Jamal Bryant has gotten a massage therapist pregnant. The baby is now 10 months old. It's a little boy. I'm not gonna say his name because he's a little 10-month-old child, but the mama name is Latoya Odom. Okay, and they're saying that Latoya got pregnant. I guess she was giving him a massage for his life, right? She got pregnant. He was begging her to get an abortion because he's already had quite a bit of this kind of thing go on in the past, and he's not sure if he could survive the backlash from the church, if something like this has happened again. But shit, he need to look up old boy. What's old boy's name from Pastors of LA? Who got that girl pregnant twice, and you guys forgave him. I was just like, that girl is pregnant. He didn't. I'm getting off track. He was trying to get her to have an abortion. She said she wouldn't. She has proof of the text messages. Evidently, there is a Christian magazine now that's saying that they have paternity test proof that he is 99.9999% sure that he's the damn daddy. So, Jamal did put out this cryptic kind of tweet saying he needs prayers, that he receives it, that he accepts it, that he's thankful for it, okay, and that God ain't through with him yet, okay. That's cold, Bobs. I done fucked up. Whenever you say God ain't through with me yet, you tripping, and that you just got to put it on God that we still working on this particular level of trippery. Look, pastors are human, just like anybody else. They're men first, right? But do I put my pastors on a different level than just the regular layman? I sure do. Because pastors have the responsibility of leading the flock. If you fucked up and you can't lead the flock, then you need to leave it alone. You can't be trying to lead the flock if you don't know where the fuck you going. I'm not gonna say that, this ain't the most horrible thing that any pastor has done, because trust me, when I was singing in the choir, and for those of you guys who watch me, who all went to the same church with me, okay, y'all know about all the drama that went on at that church, honey. I could do plenty of stories about it, okay? But we ain't gonna be messy. So I know these things happen, and these men are human, and they fall down and all of this, but you just can't keep doing the shit over and over and over and over and over again, okay? You need to not do it. And when I say not do it, I mean you need to not pastor, okay? Get your life together. Get your life together, Jamal. Are they gonna talk about it on Housewives of Potomac? They sure the hell should. If Giselle need a damn story, they talked about him last season. Why not this season too? We'll see what happens there. But yeah, he ain't paying this damn $1,100 child support that him and Latoya agreed on. So that's why Latoya coming out with all this. It's fucked up. Yeah, all the way around is messed up. But sometimes you got to do shit to open people's eyes. Okay, nigga, give me my money or I'ma tell. You ain't paying, I'm telling. All right, so that's kind of where we at. Pastor Jamal Bryant supposedly got a brand new 10-month-old baby. Alright, you guys, Afrika Bambaataa. It's a story that I talked about, and then I edited it out on one of my videos that was too long, but the story came out that he had molested this one boy named Ronald Savage, I believe. Okay, he's an ex-music producer or executive, and now I think he's involved in like politics, government or something. But he wrote this book, and in the book he talked about Afrika Bambaataa from the United Zulu Nation. Is that what it's called? Universal Zulu Nation. He was very active with a lot of the boys in the neighborhood back then under the guise of helping these children. Well, now Ronald Savage is saying that actually Africa was molesting these boys, okay, and that the boys, of course, hadn't spoken out because of a number of things, you know, scared. He said he was going to do something to them or their family. Of course, don't want the backlash of saying somebody of his stature, you know, molested them, you know, the whole gay rumors. I mean, it was a lot of things I can imagine. So now Ronald, he's gotten older. He said that he just decided that he was going to tell. People just kind of brushed it off when he first came out. However, shortly after that, 3 more guys came out. I don't have the names. A couple of them gave their names, and I think one of them is still anonymous, but they also said that they were molested. So there were more people that were starting to admit that Africa had done something to them, okay? And they all would say that there are way more men, boys who are now men, who was affected the same way. So sad story, because I mean, I'm sure a lot of my younger rock stars don't know who Afrika Bambaataa is, but you know, Planet Rock was the jam back in the day, okay, and all of that same sound of music. So you know, you just listening and you thinking to yourself like, well, damn, okay, what is really going on here? It was hard to believe, though. It was hard to believe. People started to come out in support of Afrika Bambaataa. Okay, most notably is KRS-One, who basically said, like, we don't care about them kids. I mean, that happened back then. Okay, we need to talk about all of the accomplishments that Afrika Bambaataa said. Okay, so that they did not like that. Okay, so KRS-One got a lot of backlash from that, and he had to come out and say, no, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, okay, but I think that was very indicative of how the black community is still not necessarily believing these stories of molestation and rape and things like that. You know, it's not much sympathy, especially when it's a big name. So, you know, he didn't seem to believe that Afrika Bambaataa did it. And then the Universal Zulu Nation even came out and said it was, you know, they vehemently denied that he did it, that those boys were lying, that they needed to admit that they were lying, and, you know, they went on and on. Okay, so everybody is all up in the uproar. They had a big press conference for it and everything, and finally Africa came out and himself said with his own mouth that he didn't do it. Okay, well, now Universal Zulu Nation is changing up the narrative. Okay, they're saying that they're under new leadership, and you know, that they spoke too fast. They shouldn't have said what they said. Okay, that they were trying to protect a member of their founders, and you know, that being Africa, and that now they realize that they shouldn't have done that. You know, that the victims have a right to say what happened, that they hope that the victims are better. I mean, basically what it sounds like they are saying is that, yeah, we know that Africa did it, and we sorry, we shouldn't have said nothing, and now we're trying to figure out how do we move forward. Okay, put this shit behind us and move forward with our new leadership, and, you know, still be a positive influence on the black community. I don't know how much Universal Zulu Nation still does in the communities in New York and everything. I don't know, but maybe they do. Those of you guys are in New York would know more about it. But yeah, very interesting that the Zulu Nation would say that, because it really makes it seem like they're saying without saying that, yeah, Africa did it, and we sorry, we shouldn't have said that. Now, of course, there is no there's a statute of limitations, so nothing's going to happen to Africa, because this all happened to these boys when they were younger. But I believe this Ronald Savage guy wants to change the statute of limitations. He wants to change the time on it. It shouldn't be any time, he says. I mean, even if a person finally says something at 50 years old, if it happened, it happened. Okay, and it shouldn't be just expunged or gone away with because nobody said anything when it was actually happening. I'm sad about that. I'm telling you, so much perversion in the world, and you start to wonder if it's because we are so negative on the gay community to begin with that a lot of gay men are afraid to come out, so then they turn to devious type of activity because they can't just fully live their lives. Is that being, I don't know, what y'all think? I mean, am I being, do I feel like I'm giving an excuse? I'm not giving an excuse, not giving an excuse, but I'm wondering if all of this, you know, that you hear about is because, you know, everybody is afraid to truly come out the closet and just kind of live their lives. I don't know. Or is it a sickness? I mean, it is a sickness when you fucking kids. Yeah, I mean, you just can't be fucking on kids. So, but leave your comments about that, you guys, if you know Afrika Bambaataa. Okay, yeah, leave your comments about what you feel about it. Do you believe he did it? Do you think the Zulu Nation is believing that he did it? Leave your comments below. Alright, you guys, and then lastly in quickies, Kenya and Matt from Real Housewives of Atlanta, they have called it quits. They're trying to make sure that they get their spots on Real Housewives of Atlanta for next season, or maybe creating a storyline ahead of time, because I know Real Housewives of Atlanta is probably going to start recording in the next month and a half. Okay, so this is when shit is about to start happening. We've known it long enough now to see how it goes. But I mean, I wanted it to work with Matt and Kenya. It seemed like they had a genuine enough relationship. I mean, this was the first one that I halfway believed, but he is way younger than, I mean, I just knew it wasn't gonna work. He's a trainer. Somebody had already told me that he was quite immature even for a 27-year-old guy. He didn't have the money that she was used to or that she would have wanted, and you know, romance with no finance. Thirsty attention whores. You know, she gets on to Instagram and she posts a picture of broken sunglasses, and she said love is never aggressive, hurtful, threatening, vindictive, accusatory, or distrustful. Okay, and then she removes it. Alright, post and deletes are always something that you're trying to say, you're trying to get some buzz going, and then you get rid of the shit. Alright, I mean, that's implications that the man had at least done did something to her. You got broken glasses up there like the nigga socked you in your eye or some fucking shit, you know. And then of course Matt goes on and he posts that it was all his fault, that, you know, he couldn't give her the things that she needed, and whatever. I hate when people do that, because where the fuck is just breaking up? It didn't work out. Okay, but like I said, you have got to secure your spot. We got storylines in mind now. So now everything has to be public so that there will be some interest. I mean, I get it. But still, I can't stand motherfuckers that don't just break up and move on with their damn lives, child. But whatever. Kenya and Matt, they ain't together no damn more. Chloe and Odell, they was at Drake's Memorial Day party. For lack of better words, we saw them hooking up. You know, she's standing in between his legs, him sitting on the table, them kissing, them, you know, canoodling, snuggled up, whatever. We hadn't heard anything about Chloe fooling around with Odell. I don't know, for whatever reason, I was just like, well, I mean, that's what. You had a party, you single. You see somebody cute, you've been drinking, okay, you kind of want to kiss up on them and do all, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. I mean, I was single and young back at one time. You know, it was a hookup. I didn't think that anything serious was going to come about. But of course, this is a Kardashian, so, you know, shit gets blown up way bigger than it needed to be. Chloe came out, denied that anything was going on. It was just a hookup. Odell Beckham's damn daddy got on there and was just like, he's 23 years old, he's living his fucking life. The boy works hard, he's, you know, a football player. If he's on break and he's at a party, he wants to fucking kiss on some, you know, well-known celebrity. And if the bitch want to bust it wide open for him, then what is the damn problem? It don't mean that it's anything serious, and get the fuck up off my Twitter with all this bullshit. Chloe is making it worse by keeping on responding. You know, it's not this, it's not that, it's that. You know how the Kardashians can be, just extra. But, yeah, he too little for Chloe. She looked like she's breaking with her big ass. So, yeah, no. Another couple, Blac Chyna and Rob, they're getting their own show on the E! Network. Okay, it's going to be called Rob and Chyna, and it's going to be showing the engagement, you know, her pregnancy, and what eventually will be the birth of their babies. I say babies because I think that she's having twins. For some reason, I just have a feeling that she's going to be having twins. So, congratulations to the two of them, okay? They just moving right on along with life, ain't they? Fuck, I guess we better get on board too. We done missed this damn train. And then lastly, since we're talking about pregnancies, Angela Simmons. Yeah, I know she said that she was going to stay a virgin until she got married, but guess what? She's not a virgin, you guys. She's pregnant, and she's confirmed it, even though we all knew that her ass was pregnant already. Yeah, you guys, I know she said that she was going to remain a virgin, but you guys, people say all kind of things. I tell you guys that all the time. I want somebody to go check on Sierra's ass, though. Alright, you guys, a little longer than I expected it to go, but still not too bad, you guys. Let me get in here, get my sushi, and get on back to work, you guys. We do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.